The cold wind held outside my small, century-old farmhouse. I was nestled on my couch, engrossed in a book, attempting to drown out the eerie sounds that always accompanied this time of year in rural Pennsylvania. The ancient floorboards creaked, and I could swear there were whispers in the walls, but I attributed it all to the house's age. I was a woman of few fears, but this place had a history. My grandmother used to tell me stories of her childhood here, stories that always carried a hint of dread. Yet, her tales never really bothered me, until that night. The storm outside was gaining intensity, and the room's dim lighting added to the suspense of my novel. Thunder roared, and the lights flickered briefly before returning. I sighed, appreciating the atmosphere my old home provided for my reading. But then, a noise came from upstairs. A distinct, heavy footstep on the creaking wooden floor. Startled, I put my book down and listened. Silence. Perhaps it was just my imagination running wild, or the storm playing tricks on me. I took a deep breath and decided to investigate. I climbed the narrow, dimly lit staircase, my heart pounding in my chest. The second floor was quiet and still. I checked each room, finding nothing out of the ordinary. Just as I was about to dismiss the sound as my own paranoia, I heard it again, clearer this time. Footsteps. Slow, deliberate, coming from the attic. I froze, my mind racing. I didn't have the guts to face whatever was up there alone, so I called my friend Sarah, who lived a few miles away. Her voice was filled with concern when she answered, and she assured me she'd be right over. As I waited, the storm outside continued its relentless assault. I couldn't help but feel a sense of dread, like the walls of the house were closing in on me. The minutes dragged on, and I thought of calling the police, but it seemed like an overreaction. When Sarah finally arrived, she was drenched from the rain. We went upstairs together, our footsteps echoing in the narrow hallway. The attic door loomed at the end of the corridor. I'd always avoided going up there, as my grandmother had warned me about it. Sarah, sensing my hesitation, pushed the door open, revealing a set of rickety wooden stairs leading up to the darkness. The flickering light bulb overhead cast eerie shadows. We ascended, one step at a time, our hearts pounding in unison. The attic was a dusty, cobweb-ridden space filled with old furniture and forgotten relics from generations past. It felt like a time capsule, forgotten and frozen in the past. We checked every corner, expecting to find an intruder, but there was no one. Just as we were about to leave, Sarah pointed to a tattered, old photo on a dusty table. It depicted a group of people dressed in clothes from a bygone era, standing in front of this very house. I recognized my grandmother among them. A chill ran down my spine as I looked closer and noticed something unsettling. In the background of the photograph, there was a shadowy figure, indistinct but undeniably malevolent. It seemed to be lurking just out of view, casting a long, elongated shadow. Sarah and I exchanged worried glances, unable to explain the presence of this spectral figure in a seemingly normal family photo. The storm outside intensified, rattling the attic's windows. We decided to leave the attic and descend the stairs, our nerves frayed. But as we reached the bottom, The door slammed shut with a deafening crash, trapping us in the narrow hallway. Terror overcame us as we desperately tugged at the doorknob, but it refused to budge. The walls seemed to close in, and the air grew thick with dread. That's when we heard it, a low, guttural whisper, like the wind itself had come to life. The voice spoke in a language I couldn't understand, filled with anguish and malevolence. We were frozen in place, helpless, as the walls seemed to shift and press against us. The malevolent presence from the photograph had come to life, and we were trapped in its sinister grasp. The shadowy figure materialized before us, a grotesque, twisted form with hollow eyes. With a final, blood-curdling scream, the darkness overcame us. The storm outside raged on, unaware of the horrors that had unfolded within the old farmhouse. As I share this story from the other side, I can only hope that someone finds a way to unlock the secrets of that house and put an end to the malevolent presence that still haunts its halls, waiting to ensnare the unwary, just as it did to Jenny and Sarah.